Hello, everybody. I am Hoardergamer, and this is Hoarder's Comic Flex. No, the timing's right and everything. My timing was wrong on the flex. So don't worry about things being out of sync or anything like that. Hopefully you've had a good day or night, whatever time you're watching this. See, I usually stream on Twitch, and YouTube is this wild thing to me still, because like you can watch it whenever you want, and there's no specific time. So, however, yeah, my show, it's on 8 o'clock this time right now, for me anyway. 8 p.m. Central on Wednesdays, and we talk about comic books, their reviews. It's a good time, I think. This is going to be an interesting episode because it's going to be quite a bit different. We're going to be focusing on the DCU and the information from James Gunn yesterday. In 6 minutes, James Gunn gave us a lot of information. But we're going to start with a comic book review of a very clever horror comic book, Where Monsters Lie. Where Monsters Lie is from Dark Horse. It's from Kyle Starks. And hold on, the way they wrote these names is odd. Okay, Kyle Starks and Piotr Kowalski. So they wrote them in 2 columns, and I wasn't sure who was the writer, who was the artist for a second there. Okay. Clever idea for a book. I wish, this is one of those things where I kind of want to pinch myself, because like, how could I not think of this? A gated community called Wilmhurst. And in Wilmhurst are serial killers, horror movie monsters, evil ventriloquist doll with the person that operates it, a Leatherface type person known apparently as Nephew. That might actually be the character's name. Yeah, it's really wild. So this gated community, and the whole idea is you don't kill where you eat. Well, someone breaks that rule and kills people in the gated community. And one of these victims, these teenage victims, gets loose and goes to the police. You find out that the person running this place, Zell, who looks like an old and just lovely grandmother, ends up skewering one of the victims through the eye so they can't leave, or basically killing them. And then the other victims are grabbed by these other murderers, but only one escapes, and Zell does not know this. You find out they're supposed to be reaping souls for the devil. And, we have someone that went to the police with this information, so their world's about to get much, much smaller. It's awesome. Where Monsters Lie is really great. I highly recommend it. I'm a fan of horror comic books. I can almost guarantee you this is going to be turned into a series, if not a movie. There's Puzzle Man, who's like Jigsaw. There's Aunt Julian. I haven't quite figured out his deal yet. I think he's just like a regular serial killer. And there's a clown who never wanted to be a clown and would like to deviate from clown methods of killing. He's really excited about like getting a flamethrower and working that into his repertoire. But Zell's against that, so she kind of puts the kibosh on it. And there's a character whose name I can't even say here. I guess we'll just say the F-Master. I kid you not. There's a character named F-Master. And he apparently bought all these murder implements, and they were like, oh, this is great. He's got some wonderful ideas. He's cooking up some terrible killings, because these are all murderers. And no, he just wants to focus on his lawn now. And that's what he's been doing the last few weeks. But yeah, It's dark, it's comic, gory, it's everything you want in horror, and I highly recommend it. Where Monsters Lie. I don't know if it's an ongoing series or if it's a mini series. That I'm not sure of, but man, it's cool. It's really cool. Now, unlike just about every episode, we have a kind of a different format here, okay? We're going to be talking about now the DCU. Specifically, Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. Okay? You know what? I can actually, I can do that because we don't really have to focus on the upper part. You can still see me. I'm sorry. Okay, so I got notes. I'm prepared. I'm actually prepared for this, so this should go pretty adequately. And if you know me, that's as much as I can strive for. There is no 110% for me. No. 80, 90% maybe. Adequate, you know. Maybe it's more like 80 or 85%, you know. Anyway, what you're seeing before you on this picture is the new partial DCU slate. Okay? And I believe it's supposed to be covering from 2024 through 2025. But the entire slate is an 8 to 10 year plan by James Gunn, Peter Safran, and, as he says, a group of talented writers. So, this is what we have from that. There's some very interesting things that James Gunn says. And a lot of this is like paraphrased. And I want to thank, I believe is it Heroes? Let me get the name correct here. 1 second, everybody. Yeah, I want to thank Heroes Assemble. They put up this awesome visual. And so I'm just want to give them credit. It's a really nice visual. So the idea that DC was connected, okay? Or disconnected, I apologize. DC, or especially the DCU, is disconnected. And the main goal James Gunn and Peter Safran were hired for, this is their job at DC, is to connect the DCU through film, television, gaming, and animation. All of that all together, okay? And this is the most important thing I think they said about that connection. Consistent characters, mostly played by the same actors. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some cases where they can't always have the same actor, but the goal is to make that happen. And again, not just across movies and television, which is already impressive, but across animation and video games. So, anything outside of this criteria is clearly labeled as part of DC Elseworlds, and that includes 2019's Joker and last year's The Batman. Those are now considered Elseworlds, and they are basically their own series. I think that's awesome. It gives them a lot of leeway. It doesn't force them into following certain storylines, limiting to certain villains, or, you know, or even heroes, depending if you're looking at something that's like an ensemble. It's a very good thing. And again, Chapter 1 is called Gods and Monsters. So each chapter will apparently have a name. And we start out with Creature Commandos. It's an animated series featuring, or actually an animated film, I believe, featuring Frankenstein and Weasel from The Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad, not that movie. The Suicide Squad by James Gunn. So in the one picture they showed, you see Weasel, Frankenstein, and then Bride of Frankenstein. And I apologize. In DC, I don't know if there's a specific name for her. So I don't know. But basically, characters will be moving out of animation into live action. And again, usually with the same actors. So that's really cool. That's incredibly impressive. It's an undertaking. I applaud them for it. I don't know that all the actors in the MCU would play ball with that. I can only imagine. You know? Some of them would, some of them wouldn't. It almost sounds like in their contracts it's going to be that you're in the game, you're in the movie, and you're in 2 other movies. Because usually they try to do a trilogy when it comes to their films. I mean, these contracts have to be crazy. Okay, next up we have Waller. This I'm very excited for. Viola Davis is an amazing actress. She is awesome. And she's excellent as Amanda Waller. Well, this is supposed to take place between Peacemaker seasons 1 and 2 and involves Team Peacemaker. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. It's possible other members of the Suicide Squad could be in this. Yeah, Waller is probably the thing I'm really excited for. It seems at least early on in Gods and Monsters. And I would say Waller thinks she's a god. Acts a bit more like a monster, though. Not the nicest person. Not the nicest person. Okay. So we got that. Then we go to the real beginning of Gods and Monsters. Like the thing where you're getting the big hero you're looking forward to. Okay. Superman Legacy is going to be written by James Gunn. He's currently writing it. It will be in theaters July 11th of 2025. So that's exciting. That is really exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Then we go to HBO Max with Lanterns. That's right, everybody. There will be a big budget Green Lantern series on HBO Max. It was thought that it was canceled. It almost seems like it might have been retooled, and it sounds a lot like Grant Morrison's run, where he's kind of like an intergalactic cop, except here focusing on Earth rather than outer space. So it sounds really cool, and it's not just he, it's them, Hal Jordan, and Jon Stewart. Okay? And some other Lanterns are going to show up as well. So that should be awesome. But now, if we're looking at an order, if July is Superman Legacy, I mean, this could be like fall of 2025. So maybe really this is over the course of 8 to 10 years, these. That could be. Okay. Now, this one is exciting, especially for LGBT exposure. Fantastic. The Authority. Okay? A superhero series about heroes that feel the world is broken, and they will fix that world any way that they can. So, one of the concepts in this is, what if Batman had a relationship with Superman? And in here, the basically almost like a surrogate Batman would be Midnighter, and Apollo would be like the surrogate Superman in this story. And they do fall in love. And I believe they actually do marry. So that's going to be very interesting, and it's great to see that. Also, The Authority is an excellent comic book, and it's going to be impressive. Like, that's one of the biggest surprises to me, man. I was not expecting The Authority. Like, I did not think that that would happen. Okay. So, after that we have Paradise Lost, which is going to be a TV series that takes place in Themyscira before the Wonder Woman films. So kind of like, they were saying, like kind of like Game of Thrones, but with Amazons, is what James Gunn kind of said. It sounds awesome, and I'm looking forward to that. So that, who knows, that could be 2026, 2027. I don't know, because it's going to take a long time for them to like do production and pre-production and all that, you know. Also, I don't know if it's the exact timeline Like, we know the timeline of the movies, right? Or a couple of the movies, but we don't know everything. So, now, the arrival of Batman for the DCU. Batman, the Brave and the Bold. A story of Batman and Damian Wayne from the series written by Grant Morrison. And Damian Wayne is an assassin. His grandfather is a sociopath, psychopath, terrorist, eco-terrorist, Ra's al Ghul. Mother is Talia al Ghul. And, of course, his father is Bruce Wayne. So, this is going to be awesome. And it's going to hinge a lot on who they get as Damian Wayne. Because as monstrous and psycho as he can be, he needs to be likable. So, I do not envy the casting directors for this. Like, not at all. Not at all. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. And I'm interested to see if, like, there's going to be other heroes in it. Because the Brave and the Bold has always been, like, Batman and this other hero. Now, if Damian Wayne is the only hero, like, will they do the Brave and the Bold Batman movies and then a different hero in each one? Damian just happens to be there too because he's part of the ensemble. I don't know. I'm interested to see how that's going to work because, like they said, this is the new DCU Batman. Okay. Now, this next one, Booster Gold, another HBO Max series. And basically, he's a loser from the future who travels into the past in order to get people to like him. Using the technology and his information from the future to be special. And as Gunn said, it's a series about imposter syndrome. Like Run Wild. Now, I was thinking Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick, as well as Scream Queens. He's in a lot of things. He would be amazing as Booster Gold. I actually tweeted that yesterday, and then I saw a large account tweet something about that today. So, I honestly, the first person I thought of for Booster Gold live action was Glenn Powell. So, just putting that out there. Hear that, universe? I'm just putting that out there. Okay, next up, and I'm very happy. I was able to grab a copy at my local comic shop today before it sold out. Amazon had already sold out Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow. One of the best Supergirl stories in comics, based on the Tom King series. It's epic science fiction, and it's basically a different situation than what Kal-El had in with Superman. So we have two super projects. We have Superman Legacy and Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow. This movie is going to be wild because the artwork is very vivid, has a very alien vibe to it. To me, looks very 70s-like. Like if you look at 70s comics and kind of psychedelic and intense, that's what this book looks like to me. But yeah, I was luckily able to get the one copy my LCS had. And then I got home with that. And then I go on Twitter and they're like, yep, Amazon completely sold out of it. I'm like, wow, that's wild. I also expect they're going to sell out of their run of Grant Morrison's, I believe it was Batman and Robin. I believe that was the title it went by. I could be wrong, but there is definitely a Grant Morrison run of Batman. That's real. That exists. He worked on Batman. Okay. Then we finally end with Swamp Thing, a dark horror story and an origin. So, yeah, I'm very excited by most of these projects. The things that excite me the most, I have to say, are Waller, Superman Legacy, Batman the Brave and the Bold, Lanterns, and Supergirl. Authority as well. See, I don't want to just say all of them because so many of them are great. But like, yeah, this was really cool. And again, I'm kind of shocked and find it refreshing how transparent James Gunn is being about all this. Having someone that's like at the level of a studio head or close to a studio head, giving us this kind of information is amazing. And it's not usual. So, even before he came out with his 6-minute video explaining all this, he was answering basic questions that he could answer, and he has been talking about a lot of this stuff. So, I don't know about all of you, I'm very excited by it. I think it's really cool. I think it was definitely the way to go. And I'm happy that there can actually be like Joker 1 and 2. There can be the Batman and not get in the way of what they plan for DCU. I am surprised they went with Elseworlds and not Black Label. That surprised me, because the Elseworld books now, through DC Comics, are basically called Black Label. I'm going to guess they're going to change that back to Elseworlds. I'm guessing Black Label confused people. I don't know. But, yeah, that's what a lot of, like, the prestige comics in these, like, oversized books... not all of them were oversized. A lot of them were. Like Swamp Thing and Suicide Squad. I think it's Blaze. Oh, and the amazing Aquaman Andromeda. Yeah. So I'm extremely excited by this. And it looks like the first one we'll probably get is the animated Creature Commandos or Waller. Again, and that's if he's talking in order. This might have just been like, this is the best way to give this information about all these many things that are coming out. But we do know that July 11th of 2025 is going to be Superman Legacy. So that much we know. So 2 years and, 4 months? 5 months? So, yeah. How does everyone else feel about it? Everyone else looking forward to it? And as you know, I'm a big Marvel and DC fan, but I am a bigger DC fan than I am Marvel. I've been honest about that. So, like, a huge Batman fan, huge Superman fan, and I'm becoming a big Suicide Squad fan. Also, of course, I'm looking forward to the game Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. And that's going to be interesting because they already have Deborah Wilson as Amanda Waller. So it's not going to be like Viola Davis is coming in to do that role now. So it makes sense that that game like comes out in May of this year, and Waller will probably be at some point next year, I'm guessing. Another thing to keep in mind, this isn't everything. This is a partial slate. So I'm very much hoping for another Suicide Squad movie by James Gunn. I mean, I know we're getting Waller, I know we're getting Peacemaker, but the chance that we're going to get, like, Harley Quinn or any of the other heavy hitters from the Suicide Squad in those series, I think is extremely small. I honestly am hoping for, like, Gotham City Sirens. That'd be a great story to tell with Harley. And then you could have Poison Ivy, of course. And I think that would be a lot of fun. And I think it would be... James Gunn would know a way to handle it where it would make a bigger, create a bigger audience than Birds of Prey. Because I like Birds of Prey. I think it's cool. I've seen it like 3 times. And if anything, I would have went a little bit more nuts with it and made it a little bit more of a musical. I would have went a little bit crazier with it. But I liked it. I thought it was cool. It gets a lot of hate. And I don't think it deserves any of that hate. Okay, everybody. Let me shrink this down. I'll just put that right there for now. It's so small now. Like I could just make out like shapes and colors. Can't quite see any of what that says. Oh, you know what? Before we get rid of it, we'll just look at where the DCU is currently headed. So we have the Flash, actually Shazam first in March, and then we have the Flash in June, the Universe Reset, which is apparently between Flash and Blue Beetle, and then we have Aquaman in December, it looks like. So of those, I'm very much interested in Shazam and the Flash, and Blue Beetle is going to be interesting. I'm very interested to see how they're going to handle that. I believe it's the one of the main actors from Cobra Kai is going to be Blue Beetle. So that's going to be neat. It's going to be neat. I've already seen designs of the movie outfit. Like there was a Funko Pop picture that came out or something, and it looks really cool. So I'm interested to see what people think of that. If people are going to like that like as much as something like, you know, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy or like DC's The Suicide Squad, you know. Be interesting to see. And Aquaman's going to be an insane visual feast. And it's going to be fun and incredibly expensive looking. I like the first one. I didn't love it, but I liked it. And I thought it was cool. I very much look forward to more Black Manta. That's awesome. Okay, now we're going to toy around a bit, everybody. We are going to look at some toys that are coming out probably pretty soon. Okay? Hoarder toys around in just a moment here. So, first off, we have The Dark Knight from The Dark Knight. Batman. McFarlane Toys. The Dark Knight Trilogy Collection. The first one they've shown is Batman, and I love that background. It looks like it's right out of the Nolan films. And the detail there is really cool. I kind of think the cape is material. I don't know. Based on this picture, it's hard to say. But yeah, I think it looks really good. And it's nice to have a really good figure in like a 7-inch size at that price point. You know, that $19.99 to $24.99 price point. Rather than like expensive statues. So, let's see. And, of course, if you're doing Dark Knight, you need to have Harvey Dent. Here is Two-Face. I think this is a really good figure, too. And sometimes you live just long enough to have an action figure with bizarre knees. No, but don't get me wrong, I like it. I think the sculpt is good. I think the paint job is really nice. I think it's a really good looking figure. But like on some of the recent McFarlane figures, the knees just look so bizarre. Like there was a Batman figure that came out, comic based, with like bats on the knees. And I think that was from the run, the specific comic run. But in the toy, it looks so bizarre. But yeah, here we go. I'm gonna guess they'll do Bane. Joker, possibly. If you've seen the movie, Nurse Joker. Spoilers if you haven't seen Dark Knight Rises. Talia al Ghul, I'm guessing. Scarecrow. Actually, I'll be really upset if they don't do Scarecrow. I really would like that Cillian Murphy figure with the mask and like the. He'd probably come with the attaché case with the mask in it. Well, actually, no, I don't know how they would do that. Like, but he might come with the attaché case, and like the mask may be outside of it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to these. And again, that price point's excellent. And pre-orders haven't happened yet, but usually when McFarlane shows something like this, it's maybe a week out, 2 weeks out maybe. It's usually pretty soon after they show these pictures. That's how it was with the Mr. Freeze that's coming out very soon. So, okay, let me remove this here. Next up, everybody. As you know, I'm a huge fan of G.I. Joe Classified. Look at this craziness. Scrap iron. Look at his scowl. Look at his face. The explosions, the gun, the missiles that fit into the missile launcher. The detail is crazy. Look at all the explosions, the plumes of smoke and fire. This is great. This is really cool. Like, so this could be kind of like how they did, like, Dr. Mindbender last year, or Serpentor. I think this will be more at the Mindbender price tag, though. I don't think this will be Serpentor price tag. I think it looks phenomenal. And I collect the Cobra stuff. Due to space and due to, money, I don't like to... I'm not trying to get all the G.I. Joe stuff. But the Cobra stuff, yes. Especially because as a kid, I used to have it where, like, different factions of Cobra would fight one another. And it would be like Cobra Commander's faction, Tomax and Zaymot's faction, what's his name? Destro's faction, and even the Dreadnoughts. So, but yeah, I like that a lot. That's only the picture they've shown, and it's a render. I'm sure the final thing will look similar, because most of the renders they've put out, the toys have looked real close. But yeah, scrap iron with accessories and the freaking missile launcher. So, still, I will say that that is one of the best toy lines I've seen in a long time. Like, that is a really good line. And finally, everybody, look at this son of a gun. Look at this sexy son of a gun, will ya? Shrapnel. One of the Insecticons. I love the coloring. I love the see-through plate on the chest. Similar to what they did with Kickback. The arms. Everything about this, I think, looks phenomenal. And the price point, $24.99. So, I think everything is great about this. It's difficult for me to have multiple pictures of the same toy because I want to show a number of things. So I don't have him as the insect, but I very much like this a lot. And Bombshell should also just be awesome when it comes out. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think they did a really good job on the Transformer Legacy Insecticons. Or they are doing a really good job. Because, not all of them are out. This is the second one. Like, to me, that was, like, one of the best takes you could do of a G1 Transformer. Like, I'm kind of floored by it, really. Okay. We are done toying around, everybody. The toying around is over. No more toying around. So, usually we do something like... The future of comics! But, like, the only thing that was really exciting to me was Marvel Comics Red Goblin #1. Norman Osborn gets a symbiote. And will he be monstrous and nightmarish like Carnage? Or is he going to be like Venom is now? And, like, make the world a better place type of thing. So I think that's going to be really cool. Issue 1 comes out next week. And then just some things that, like, are awesome already. Batman has a new issue. Batman and Poison Ivy. And Poison Ivy by G. Willow Wilson has been one of the best books in, like, the last year. That's been really, really solid. But again, so is Batman. There's another Lazarus Planet book coming out. It's a one-shot as well. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that looked exciting to me for comics. A lot of it was like, Because, like, usually I'll bring something to the table that's like, oh, this is a new issue 1, or this is a new series, this amazing hot writer or artist is coming on to book, you know, things like that. Now, how did everyone else feel about the DC presentation yesterday, the DCU presentation? What projects did everyone like? I had a big conversation about it. You might have missed that. That's earlier in the video. But, you know, just keeping the lines of communication open here. Yeah, so we had like one comic book review this week, and I really wanted to focus on that DCU information from James Gunn and Peter Safran. So that was kind of the big focus this week, with a bit of a different format. I'll ask everybody to prime the pump right now if you have any comic books you want me to talk about, any toy lines or anything like that. This is actually going to be a really short episode. And maybe that's a better idea. You know, maybe the hour-long, sprawling episode just... it's too much. It's too much, Hoarder. I hate to say that. I hate to say that. But maybe it is. Okay, I don't see any suggestions. But yeah, I'll be back next week then. It's going to be, again, 8 p.m. Central on the Doom Squad Gaming YouTube channel. And I would just like to I would just like to thank Doomkiller HD for letting me borrow the channel again. Thank you. And yeah, I hope you all have yourself a fantastic morning, evening, or night when you watch this. And if you like it, tell other people about it, you know. I'm not going to harp and preach to say, hey, sub, you know. If you want to, go ahead. But thank you very much. And, you know, hopefully I'll see you for the next episode of Hoarder's Comic Flex. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.